Okay, this is a quick video on 15 things that confident and successful people do, which if you can practice some of these, you don't have to be stuck in your ways, but if you recognize where you need improvement, you can actually move things forward. The first thing is they generally don't make excuses. If there's a problem, they fix it. If there's an issue and it's their fault, they hold their hands up to it and find a solution. For me, what I always do is, if I'm going to complain about something, I already have a solution for it. The main thing is, if I had no solution, I generally don't complain about it because it's not going to be productive. It doesn't help anybody. The next thing is, don't avoid doing things that are scary. For example, you get offered a promotion in a job you haven't done before, with stuff you don't know what to do, and avoid taking the job. Generally, successful people won't do that. They will take the job and they'll work it out. They'll put in the extra hours to learn the stuff they don't know already. That's a big difference. They don't live in a bubble of a comfort zone. They do things where they're looking to push themselves. Like for me at the moment, I'm looking at walking across the Brecons. I started cycling, which is why I'm wearing this shirt at the moment. I'm getting my fitness level back up. It's all about changing things and thinking, you know what, I want to cycle across Europe. You know what, I want to motorbike ride across India. These are things I'm going to do. But the main thing is not living inside a comfort zone. You don't put things off till next week. That's one of the biggest killers, because people put it off and then they forget what they were doing, and it just slows everything down. But if you do it now, say it's Friday afternoon and you've got a report that needs to be done for Monday, Tuesday, maybe it's better to stay an extra half an hour after work, get it finished, get it done and dusted, and you know all weekend that you've already done the most important thing for next week. Don't obsess about other people's opinions of you. The reason this is important is I find that office space can often be very catty. Mainly among women, to be honest. I'm not being sexist here, but I find guys generally are more laid back and less aggressive with each other. They may say somebody's crap at something, but it's normally based on the fact that they're crap at it, not that the guy's fat or did you see, you know, I've never had that out of a guy. The main thing is, it doesn't matter what they think. As long as you're doing your job, as long as you're doing what's important to you, as long as you're focused on your life, who cares what they think? If they've got enough time to think about you, then they've obviously got too much time on their hands. Don't judge people, which sounds a bit odd with the last comment, but the fact is, don't judge a person. I actually work the opposite way around. I'm very positive with other people who try to be. I always thank people, like waiters or anybody that's working with us or for us. I'll try and make an effort to say you did a good job there, or you know, you're doing well. But the main thing is not to run other people down or judge them, because you never fully understand somebody else. That's why it's important not to get dragged into opinions which is very negative and may come back to bite you in the butt someday. Lack of resources is another thing. If you're successful, you don't make it as an excuse. A lack of resources is a case of we work with what we have. I've had this many a time where you just turn around and go, right, this is the objective. You don't sit there and find reasons not to do it. You look for reasons to do it and how to do it. If you start going negative, then there's only going to be one outcome. Don't make comparisons. Everything is different and everybody is different. A prime example of that was two programmers. The one works extremely fast and can do it in a quarter of the time of the other guy, but at the same time they finish at the same time. Why? Because the guy that takes ages doesn't make any mistakes. So judging them, if you've seen the two of them working side by side, you think the other guy was actually doing better than the other guy. They're not. They're actually doing exactly the same productivity levels. And the fact is, comparing people, it doesn't really, it's never so cut and dry. And also, you don't like people doing it to you. You don't find that pleasure in people pleasing. People pleasing is where you're expecting a little badge or a big thank you for doing something. If you get praise for something, be thankful for it, but if you don't, so what? The important bit is you do what you do well, because the important person is yourself. Knowing that you do a good job and do everything right, that is more important than somebody going, oh, you did your job right. You know, you don't need a pat on the back. And that also comes back to, you don't need constant reassurance, because the fact is, you shouldn't need people to constantly push you and tell you you're doing it right or wrong. What you need is the ability to think for yourself and look at better ways of working, finding how to do stuff that maybe nobody's asked you to do yet, but if you understand things more, you're worth more to a company or you're worth more to yourself. You don't avoid life's inconvenient truths. For example, if you were sick, you know when people have cancer and try and avoid it and things like that, the fact is you just need to deal with it. You can't avoid getting sick, but what you can do is maybe save your own life. And one of the ways to put this forward is, I know a lot of this stuff worries people a lot, is to not think of yourself, but think of your kids and people around you. Because if you can stop something bad happening, you should do it. Don't quit because of minor setbacks. Now, this relates to me a lot in the Philippines, where a lot of the stuff I do, people will say it would never work, and then I'm successful with a lot of things where people would find failure. Now, the reason for that is I'm stubborn. I'll just keep going. A minor setback is exactly that. Don't expect everything to go smooth at day one. You just keep pushing and pushing until it works. You just need to be aggressive and just keep working at it. Don't expect to be successful at day one. You don't require anyone's permission to act. You do stuff because you know it's the right thing. You do stuff because you know what you're doing. You don't sit there waiting for somebody to tell you that's right, that's wrong, whatever. You just get on with it, you do the task at hand, you make sure everything runs the way you want it to run. That is probably one of the most important things that could affect your life in the business world, with being able to think out of the box, get ahead with things, pre-plan things other people haven't even thought of. Those are very important. Don't limit yourself to a small toolbox. Now, this one's important because it's like me, I have virtual assistants. In my job role, I don't have virtual assistants, but I have virtual assistants because I have other businesses. I have virtual assistants because there's tasks they can do for me. There is tasks they can do for me while I'm driving. There is tasks they can do for me that I don't have the time for. They take life headaches from me and make everything function a lot easier. You can get more done in a day, you're more productive. Those are small things in my toolbox which aren't part and parcel of what everybody else does. You get other people working till midnight and stuff. I've got people that help me do it. don't blindly accept what you find on the internet. This is probably one of the biggest ones that bugs me, to be honest, because the truth is, I don't believe 90% of the stuff on the internet. And you probably go and say, yeah, but you just made this YouTube video. But the whole point is, people aren't thinking enough these days. I question everything. I annoy people because I do. You know, if somebody says, oh, that's the answer, I'm asking, well, why is that the answer? And that even bugs them even more. Because everything has an answer, but it needs justifying. You know, like in the media being so one way or the other, or blasé, it's all based on who's paying for them. It's not based on unbiased media. That's a typical reason of not believing everything you're sold in the media. Also, things are driven a certain way. You know, like the UK, when they were pushing for the selling of the 4x4s, then shortly after taxing them to death. Today, I hardly see any 4x4s on the road. So where did they all go? All I can say is good marketing and PR for those that did a bit of scaremongering right after making everybody buy a 4x4. And the oil prices, very similar thing. Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.